Okay, so we're going to look at adding and subtracting fractions, starting with some simpler numbers, building up to some more complex ones. So let's start with 2/5 and 1/7. Now, the main differences in when you're adding fractions is if your fraction, when you add them together, is less than 1, you obviously don't need to convert to a mixed numeral, but you do need to simplify if necessary. If your answer comes out as an improper fraction, you need to convert it to a mixed numeral and simplify if necessary. And then also, if you start with mixed numerals, your answer should end up in mixed numerals also. So let's have a look at this one. So, two different ways of doing it. This one, you're looking always for the lowest common multiple of the denominators, because you need a new common denominator, because obviously we can't add fifths and sevenths, they're not the same thing. So the easiest way to find your new common denominator is to multiply the two ones that you've got already. So this new denominator is going to be 35. Now, if you have done that, if you have multiplied the two original denominators to make a new one, you can then cross-multiply to find your new equivalent fractions. Because what you're actually doing is saying 2/5 is going to be equivalent to how many 35ths, and 1/7 is going to be equivalent to how many 35ths, and then you can add them together. I tend to put it over one denominator because I'm lazy, but you could easily do it like this if you wanted to, but I tend to do it like this. Okay, so what you can do then is cross multiply. You always start at the top left. So 2 7s are 14, 5 times 1 is 5, and then obviously you've now got two fractions with the same denominator. When they've got a common denominator, you just add the numerators. So your answer is 19 over 35. Now that one obviously doesn't need cancelling, doesn't need converting, that would be your answer. Okay, everyone with me so far? Okay, so let's go on to one then where the answer is going to be more than 1. So we'll have 3/4 plus 5/8. No, let's do 5/7. 3/4 plus 5/7. Now, it's pretty obvious that the answer is going to be more than 1 here because both of the fractions are bigger than a half. Obviously, 3/4 is nearly a whole one and 5/7 is nearly a whole one as well. So you know that you're going to have to convert. So again, the process is the same though. Your new common denominator, so the lowest common multiple of 4 and 7, 28. Okay, then 3 times 7 is 21, 4 times 5 is 20. Your answer is then 41 over 28. And what you have to do then is just convert that back into a mixed numeral. How many 28s are there in 41? There's 1 with how many left over? 13, that's right. So your answer is 1 and 13/28. Everyone with me so far again? Okay. Now, last one for addition is when you've got some mixed numbers. So say we've got 3 and 2/3 and we're adding 5 and 3/4. So. Now, when you subtract, you do have, bless you, you do have to convert first. Now you don't. What I do is I look at the whole numbers, look at the integers. I've got a 3 and a 5. So I know that I'm going to need, in my answer, to put back in 8 units. So I just put the 8 at the top with a little circle around it, and I know that I've dealt with that. What I'm left with then is the 2/3 plus the 3/4. And when I get that answer, I add it back to the 8. So, new common denominator, 12. Cross multiply, 2 times 4 is 8, 3 times 3 is 9, so it's 17/12, which is, as a mixed numeral, is 1 and 5/12. But then I've got to add back in the 8, So my answer is 9 and 5/12. Beg your pardon? Yeah, no, the 9 and 5/8, 5/12. So that's slightly longer. You could, if you wanted to, put 8 plus 17/12 and then miss out one line of working. But really, with this, the lines of working take very little time, and it's really worth setting it out really properly like this. Okay, so is everyone happy with adding? We're all happy with adding, good. Okay, subtraction, slightly more complex, but not massively more complex. So let's go on to subtraction. The main problem is differentiating between addition and subtraction and multiplying and dividing, because the processes are very different. Okay, so let's we'll start with 3/4, take away 1/3. So this is the simplest form of subtraction, where the second fraction is smaller than the first fraction. Same process as we do with addition. New common denominator. What will my new common denominator be? 12. That's right. Okay. Cross multiplying. Really important with subtraction that you always start at the top left. So 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 1 is 4. So my answer is 5/12. So it's identical to addition, except you subtract the numerators, not add them. Okay. If that had been addition, the answer would have been 13/12, not 5/12. Okay, everyone okay with that? Let's do that the other way around, so that our answer is going to be less than 0. So let's start with, say, 2/7, and we're going to subtract 8/9 from it. Now 2/7 is obviously smaller than 8/9, isn't it? We know that it's smaller. And we're going to end up with a negative fraction in that case. So we need, though, same process, new common denominator. 7 9s are 63, that's right. Okay. And then again, start at the top left corner. 2 times 9 is 18. 7 8s are 56. So, what is 18 subtract 56? Negative 38. So, negative 38 over 63. Now, can we simplify that? No, they've got no common factors, have they? So, we can't simplify it. Had it been negative 35 over 63, we could have divided them both by 7. Okay? So really, it's very simple as long as you get the numerators from the original fraction in the correct order. Okay? Everyone with me? Do you want to do another example like that? And we'll see if we can do one where it cancels. Okay. 3/8 subtract 4/5. So we'll do 3/8 subtract 4/5. So what's my new common denominator? 40, that's right. Excuse me. 3 times 5 is 15. 8 times 4 is 32.
You mean instead of 15 wouldn't be 12 because it's 3? Oh no, sorry. I thought it was...
Cross multiply. 3 times 5 is 15.
I thought we're doing multiplication.
No, that's the thing. You've got to make sure you've got the processes right. 8 times 4 is 32. So what's 15 subtract 32? Negative 7. Sorry, I haven't made it cancel, but anyway. Negative 17 it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Negative 17 over 40. Now, if that had been negative 16 over 40, we would have cancelled it. Okay? Right, so the last one is when we've got mixed numbers. So, again, you can have a bigger fraction at the beginning and a smaller one to subtract, where your answer is going to be more than 0, or vice versa. So let's have 3 1/4 subtract 2 2 and 2/7. Now this one, you actually have to convert the fractions into improper fractions first, okay? So 3 1/4, what will that be? Yeah, 13 over 4, subtract 16 over 7. Well done. Okay, new common denominator? 28. Okay, 13 times 7. 91. Well done, 91. 4 times 16, double it again. 64, that's right. So what's 91 take away 64? 27 over 28. Don't have to simplify. Okay, can you stop that then, please?